No, I don't. I don't need any help.
Julie
I'm fine. You guys
kind
want
of
to
looks
go where
back at
protected.
you and shakes her head, just like, but continues, straight on into the woods.
Are we
Um,
following the dragon?
Let's go. Yeah.
Or are we
um,
following the red dragon?
well, it's the halfling that was a dragon, so if you're following him.
Yeah.
So you guys run for about 5 or 10 minutes until you get to a very large cliffside, and you see that the halfling puts his hand on the cliffside, and the stone wall just kind of shimmers away, revealing a huge, like a fairly large cavern. And he says to the rest of you, um, you know, mi casa, su casa. And he points into the cavern.
Ramas scratches his
Okay.
head, wonders what that means.
um and as soon as a couple of you go in, he will follow behind you.
Yeah.
I will calm the
I
Griffin
enter
and
as
lead them
well.
in.
Okay. They trot in. Everybody trots in, and he looks at Ramus. The dragon looks at Ramus and says, "My home is your home. Welcome to my lair.
Ooh, cool.
Please step inside quickly.
Okay.
Thank
I'll
you."
wander in.
And then he just waves his hands in a different pattern, and then you see the stone wall just shimmer back into place. It looks like an illusion. And when the group of you get inside, you find that the area is actually very well furnished. There is a nice living space with some very, very beautiful furniture. There are paintings on the wall. There are there are I'm trying to there we go. There are many, many, weapons that are on the wall. You see a lamp, like a mat. It looks like from a pouring boat, but it looks like a shiny lamp. And there are just tons and tons of treasure in the back of the lair. Most of it looking like magical weapons, armor, a couple beautiful pieces of art, and he says, "Welcome to my home. Um, my name. I'm sorry for the brief introductions, and I'm sorry for leading the red dragon to you. And I think I'm owed an apology." He looks at Denethor. Because I was shot by an arrow. He looks at you.
I say, well, I'm sorry.
I don't think
That's a
he.
really good apology from him. So see it as something very positive.
Yeah, he doesn't say that very often.
Apology accepted. My name is Shell. My name is Shell Kiki Nikkei, but you can call me Shelly. I kind of well, I'm glad I met you on the road before the red dragon made you his lunch. Um,
Why
I
is the red dragon
apologize.
hunting you? I ask.
Well, here's the thing. So I have come into knowledge that said red dragon has a small clutch of bronze dragon eggs. I was trying to get them back so they would not be raised as a red dragon's offspring. Unfortunately, I had forgotten that young red dragons don't take kindly to people stealing um, egg clutches. So he almost caught me while I was running away, but I think we we should be okay in here. Maybe, so to
I
speak.
can steal them back.
Excuse me?
I can steal them back.
Are you volunteering?
Yeah.
I just look
I
at
go
him.
close to I go close to Wendell and I whisper to him, "Can he really?"
Yeah, I can.
Did you whisper to
I'm
my
the best.
character?
I'm saying, "Can he really?" I whisper to you just
Okay.
because I don't trust Ramas.
Spirit.
I don't know. He's really stupid, so probably not.
Shelly says, well, I need help. I need help.
You need help?
I need your help.
Oh,
I need some help. As you can see, I know we just met, and you have no reason to trust me other than the fact that I'm a dragon. But hear me out.
is that?
I am willing to part with some of my hoard, and he points to the pile of treasure behind you guys, if you help me with this. You also
Eyes turned to dollar signs.
you also probably want to help because, you know, if this red dragon raises these bronze dragons as chromatic dragons, so to speak, nature of chromatic dragons, this area of the country may be laid to waste in a couple of hundred years. It's good to
100 years.
yeah, a couple hundred, maybe 200. It's good to nick the problem in the butt, so to speak. You know, get it while they're still early. And I may have also kind of pissed off well, it's a pair of red dragons. You guys, have you guys fought a dragon before? Well, apparently he has. He points to the ranger because, you know, he had no problem with this arrow. He by the way, he took the arrow before he transformed. He took the arrow out and he's like, "Here, I think this belongs to you." Shelly hands the arrow to Denethor.
Taking it, I'm like,
I ask.
Yes, Haya?
Do we know anything? No. Do we know anything in the future about this area? Like, are there more red dragons in the future or something like that?
Excellent question. I would like everybody to roll a remembering is a wisdom. So I will give it as a wisdom check.
Of course it is.
Sorry, Acros.
Wouldn't it
Yeah,
be
history, isn't it that?
Yeah.
Well,
history
actually,
check?
recalling Lore's intelligence. Oh, fine, intelligence.
I shouldn't be able to make this one, right? Because I'm from the past.
Yeah,
so
you
I'm
probably
not
we
on
probably don't know. Hwinnil, and
So
then
intelligence.
Yep, intelligence.
History or
let's do history. Since it's a history check, let's do a history check, everybody. Oh boy. All right. Hwinnil, Liel, you do recall that there was hundreds of years. So there was a dread dragon that did appear in this area and laid waste to a town called Forge. Who'd have thunk?
Okay.
You have no you cannot recall anything about the bronze dragons or the soon to be bronze dragons raised by red dragons because they would probably have been too young at that point to cause such damage. But the red dragon does coincide with the destruction of the smithing town forge in the future.
Okay, I whisper to Liel, what is your profession?
I'm a bard.
I see. Hmm. I don't know if it's such a good idea. I want to help it because I don't like destruction of like nature, but I don't know if it's a wise thing to meddle with the time.
Yes, the timeline might be a difficult thing to a thing that it's not advisable to meddle with. But are we going to just leave these dragons there?
I'm so conflicted. It's like two things yelling me in different ears right now what to do.
Uh, should we share this information with others? With the others?
Yeah, I
Hear
think
their
that's right.
opinion.
I think that would be the right thing to do.
All right, so you share the
Yeah.
information with the group, I assume.
Yeah.
Julie kind of looks a little concerned. It's like, I knew this shit was gonna happen. I knew this shit was gonna happen. I knew this was gonna happen. I need to think about this with some whiskey. And she just pulls out her flask and she starts drinking.
And I pull out
I'm
my
not really
cat
what
and start
happened
talking to
the
the
last
cat.
time somebody started drinking around us.
As she does forth her whiskey, I pull forth a cat and I hold it and I start meowing at it.
Meow. You probably can still talk to Orange Cat at this point too.
Yeah,
And he's
otherwise
just,
I'd rip-
looking
yeah.
very, very, So what do you want? So the cat says to you, so what do you want to do?
I don't know. Have you any more information about this? If these are actually causing problem, these chromatic things?
I know that after the War of the Dragon had taken place, Orange Cat says that the chromatic dragons left Skoruk, and there has been a higher cause of dragon attacks throughout the region in our time. However, this young red dragon does not appear to be partaking in the war that is going on currently. As for the destruction of Forge, that's a hard call because I don't know what were the historical ramifications for it was a very small town, and unfortunately towns come and go as the tide goes. It's just part of living in the wilderness. However, I do know that the roads security were increased after the Red Dragon attack on Forge in our time. I don't know. I'm at a loss as well. Acros, is anybody else gonna you see Hwinnil talking to and then you see Julie just taking into a flask and trying to think. She's just thinking right now about what should we do. Iron
go
Paw,
to,
Cat's Paw are just like
I'll go over to Hwinnil and ask if she remembers if the dragon we helped in, was it Flamecrest?
Mhm.
And I forgot her name.
and Angelina,
Yeah, Angelina.
the one that tried to get into your pants.
Yes.
That's
Unsuccessfully.
Well, she was a pretty girl. She was a pretty girl polymorph. Unfortunately,
Yeah, I just rolled
Acros
some
didn't.
bad,
Yeah,
insight
he
checks.
yeah he didn't. He it just went over his head. Just like,
Yeah, so do we did she not want us to tell her any information about the future? Because I was thinking if she, didn't want us to tell her anything, maybe that's the wisest course to take, not tell this dragon as well anything. I don't know.
No,
Do you remember if we told her anything?
we try to avoid it, and I think we should try to avoid it here as well. The question now is, do we save this innocence, or do we just let the time do the same as last time? And I can't decide what would be the right thing to do.
Is it possible to actually save the eggs without actually killing any of the dragons?
if you anything is possible.
I did tell you I could steal.
Yeah.
How large is one of these eggs?
A dragon egg is about the size of a football.
Okay.
Like
How
an
many
American,
eggs are
well, soccer
Package
ball,
building.
2 soccer balls maybe. Yeah, it's about that.
How
The
many
bag of
eggs are
holding, I can
stolen?
put them all in there.
Shelly will tell you that a clutch of 5 eggs were stolen.
Okay.
Doesn't sound too difficult.
I know, right? Shelly says. You know, last time I tried to go in like guns blazing, but I realized that there were 2 red dragons instead of 1, so 2 against 1 usually doesn't work.
Are we
And
talking
fast.
about?
What is a gun?
Are
Oh,
we
I'm
talking
sorry,
about
arrows.
other-
Arrows blazing.
Right. Okay.
Are we talking about 2 adult red dragons?
No, 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 no. They're young like me. That's why I thought I could take one, but I had bad judgment. Very, very bad judgment. If anybody wants to roll a nature check to gather the nature of red or brass dragons, they may do so. It's a dragon.
It's a dragon.
Roar.
It's
Their metallic dragons are good. Chromatic dragons are bad. Holy
Oh,
crap!
Damn.
All right, that's good enough. All right, Acros, you know that brass dragons are the most social of the chromatic dragons. They love talking to people. Brass are chromatic. Sorry, yelling at downstairs. They normally will try to so their key aspect is manipulating people. Brass dragons are great at manipulating people, so keep that in the back of your mind, Acros.
Okay.
However, but they also know when they're being manipulated. They're also very trusting, and they enjoy conversation. They are not the heavy hitters of the metallic dragons, however. They are probably the weakest of the metallic dragons. Red dragons are probably the strongest of the chromatic dragons. So he probably, seeing this dragon's nature and what you know about Shelly so far, he probably misjudged the strength of this young red. Maybe the young red's actually younger than himself, but he didn't know he was taking on 2 at the same time. Red dragons are a lot of trouble, as you know. They are strong, they are fast, they are also very, very arrogant. And they're not dumb. They're probably some of the smartest among their kind. What in particular did you want to know, Acros? If you wanted to know anything at all, maybe like can we sneak by one or something like that? Maybe something like that.
Um. Yeah, maybe. Maybe I was just maybe thinking the relative strengths of the brass versus a red, like how.
Okay, so just to let you know, so brass dragons do breathe fire, but they do also have a sleep breath. That is the trait among brass dragons. They enjoy, like I said, they enjoy conversation. They are they are they are not known for their strength. So yeah, it does make sense that the Reds would have overpowered the Brass Dragon rather easily. The Red Dragon, of course, breathes fire, and I'm quickly looking at the Red Dragons. There's one thing about this Brass Dragon that kind of has you perplexed, Acros. Brass Dragons are desert dwellers. It doesn't really make sense why he would be here. Shelly would be here right now. Why he would have a lair in a cliff in a deciduous forest of all places. Red dragons make a little more sense. They are mountainous dragons. They like living in the mountains. They're tyrants, and they also are very territorial. as soon as Shelly probably entered the Red Dragon's territory, they probably knew Shelly was there.
Okay. I'll ask Shelly. Why do you have a lair here? Why are you living here? I thought dragons of your kind lived in deserts and places
So
like that.
that's the thing. So when I was living in, I used to live in Robur. I miss it so. I there was these group of people who wanted to use my lair for their operations, and I said, no, this is I found it first. It's mine, and then they kicked me out. And then I had to find a place elsewhere, but a lot of Robur is, there are a lot of dragons vying for territory, so I had to find a new place to live, and unfortunately it was here. Makes me kind of sad.
I'm
roll
going
an-
to insight that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say as well.
Okay. That's
I'll try.
all right.
Worse.
Ramus, you do believe you believe he's telling the truth, but there seems to be he's not revealing. There seems to be. Do you think there's more to it than that? You think?
What are you telling us? There's something else.
What? Oh, what? No, I wouldn't hide anything from you. Okay. Okay, you got me. I was kicked out by humans. I was kicked out by human slaves. Who does that? Who's gonna believe me that I was kicked out of my lairs by a group of human slaves?
Is Jake in this
Jake
lair
is
with us?
Jake is with you. Jake is with you.
I asked him, did the slave look like this guy? Did the slaves?
No, they had tattoos on their faces.
Okay.
But
Do we know anything about those guys with tattoos on their faces?
so you wouldn't know this, but this is most of the players know this, of course. Your group was attacked by slaves from Robur when they were taking an airship to head to Wingfall, but they brought down the airship. So for some reason, slaves from Robur want them dead. But this is player knowledge. This isn't character knowledge. So you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. He said, yeah, they had some weird dark magic on them and stuff. So when they turned my mate to stone, I had no choice but to leave.
Oh, so sad.
Are you guys gonna help me? I wanted to get these eggs so I could me and Tara always wanted to have a family, and I'm not old enough to have a family of my own, and there's not too many brass dragons around. And when I heard about these bronze dragons, I thought, hey, if I could get these eggs, I can raise them, and there'll be more metallic dragons around.
So, what should we do? I think Liel would think that we can just go on our way. To be honest, I don't know. He has a
Ramas doesn't
respect
under-
for dragons because of some of his studies were about dragons.
Well, I
Ramas's
would.
eyes are still dollar signs. And the whole thing about time travel just went completely over his head. So he's all in favor of staying here and helping her out. Or him, her, the dragon.
Yeah, Acros is kind of not too overly concerned about the whole ramifications of the time travel thing. He kind of went on this whole adventure on a whim, and so I guess he's not really thinking too deeply about it. But he does I pull the party aside and say that I'm willing to help the dragon, but we need to be careful that we're not being manipulated or used by him, because brass dragons can be clever, and we need to be careful if we do this.
I think we can. I think I would like to help the dragon, but we should try as much as possible not to kill any of the other dragons, just in case something changes in the timeline.
Yeah, but it might. If we would do this, there is a big risk that we actually will be locked in deadly combat with 1 or 2 red dragons. When we
Yes,
are at
that
their
is a
lair
risk.
picking up the eggs, we will not be able to outrun the dragons.
We need to manage to stealth by them.
Ramus's grin gets even bigger. Himself.
Is
In
it
the
possible
best
to... Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, in the best worlds we can sneak in and get the eggs, but I just say the plan must take in consideration that something might go wrong, and then we will have to fight 2 red dragons.
That is true. Um,
I mean,
Julie
are we
will.
sure we want more dragons in the world? Aren't they kind of dangerous? Aren't we putting more lives in danger by, potentially helping breeding more dragons?
Just killing dangerous animals doesn't. That's also vile. It's not like a wolf is a bad person, because a bad animal because he eats a deer.
But a red
I would
dragon
say
is
that
straight up evil.
yeah.
In some people's eyes.
Okay.
I would
So,
ask you.
Shelly is, just waiting for you guys to finish conversing, and he said, I could still help you guys too. I'm not gonna just throw you to the wolves, so to speak. I do know what the layer looks like. I know I can draw you a map, and we can we're gonna we're gonna be in this together, right?
We are going to be in this
No,
together.
but-
I do have to ask you something.
Okay,
Uh,
we'll try to help you, I say, but we need to take care of the rest of our group
Oh.
first.
They can, well, oh yeah, that doesn't look like everybody in your group can fight, right? Well, they can stay here. I have several wards help protecting this cavern, so they should be safe here. If the dragon hasn't come in already, I assume that he couldn't find me. I also have several secret passages I can show your friends just in case he does come in.
Where do those secret passages lead to?
They lead to the other side of the mountain. So he walks over to one wall, and then he takes out he takes out a small stone, and he puts it into a tiny little crevice in the wall, and then as soon as he does that, the wall opens up. This one over here leads to outside the forest, and he walks to the other side of the wall, and he takes out a similar stone and he puts in the wall. And this one over here will lead you to a river that is very close to my lair if you need a water getaway. So I do have multiple exits of this, and I will leave my stones. And he goes to Acros, and he puts 2 of those color stones in his hands. These stones will open those passages. So if if the dragon does come here, your friends could escape. Also, I get warned. I have an alarm spell on the lair just in case something strange comes by, like say another dragon. It will alert the people inside this cave that something large is outside. The fact that we haven't heard that yet means dragon's probably not around.